John Pitaressi is formerly from the Observer-Dispatch and now is with the Greater Utica Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, the induction is coming up real soon. John, good morning. Always great to talk to you.
Same here, Bill. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So talk about the Greater Utica Hall of Fame, the Sports Hall of Fame, just a little bit.
Well, we've been going since – this will be our 30th annual induction.
Wow.
So 1990 was the first. And we're trying to make sure, preserve the narrative, preserve the history of the really outstanding athletes from our area who are also have contributed, many of them in many other ways. Our president is Larry Calabrese. We have a board of, I'm not sure now, about 13 or 14, 15, I think, at the moment. Our induction this year is June 9th at the Delta Hotel downtown, the old Radisson. We get with the Hall of Fame, which is across the street in the galleries in the Adirondack Bank buildings.
Yep.
We'll have that at 3 o'clock. We'll have a social hour at 4 p.m. and the banquet itself at 5 p.m. And we're inducting 8, I think our biggest class ever, 8 people, 4 of them women. We put a big emphasis on being diverse in terms of gender, race, and geographically in our area. Erin Hamlin, the Olympic bronze medal winner, Erin Hamlin is among our inductees. And if you want, I'll tell you the rest. Maura Dunn Bowles, probably the top professional women's golfer from our area ever. Emily Durr, a former Notre Dame and Iowa State basketball star. Joanne Gerace, who's the owner of Tiny's, but also was the top sports executive who was general manager of the Utica Blue Sox when they won the New York Penn League in 1983. Ball coach Joe Malazzo, harness driver Anthony Mondi, who was one of the top drivers ever at Vernon Downs. Baseball coach Steve Owens from Sequoia, who has had tremendous teams at Cortland State, and now all of a sudden I'm losing his college team. Penny Semaia, the former Proctor football player who also played at the University of Pittsburgh. So those 4 people, 8 people are going to be inducted on the 9th, and we just want to let everybody know about it. Tickets are available at Central New York Sports and Apparel there behind the New Harvard Shopping Center. Kevin Eager, who owns that business, is one of our directors.
And I got to say, it's pretty easy to walk inside the hall, if you will, over at Adirondack Bank, and people should take time just to walk through and look at some of the names there on the wall. It is really cool.
I think it'll bring back some memories for a lot of people. I think we have about 150 inductees now, and a lot of them during my career, 40. Well, actually, I'm still writing a little bit for the OD, but the 43 years I was full time. I would say most of those people I covered in one way or another.
Right. Well, who else are they going to find? Who else are they going to find to cover fishing and hunting? There's no one out there. I mean, you're the guy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm sure there are a lot of guys who are better hunters and anglers than I am. I just love it. But, and hey, Bill, remember when was it? When I first met you, you were announcing the Little Falls Mets game.
That is correct. I was public address announcer and did the games on the radio.
And it was what, 83?
That was 19. I started working there in 81, and right on through 86, 87 when they won. The Little Falls Mets actually won. But those games between Utica and Little Falls, the big game, the game, was it a home run or wasn't it? The playoffs were riding on it. It was huge.
That was ridiculous. That was 1983.
Yeah.
When Blue Sox won, and the next year, Bud Harrelson was the manager of the Mets, and they won.
And
right?
the Mets won. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but that home run that wasn't a home run is Jacoby. Hit the ball off the. No, he didn't. The Little Falls Mets guy hit the mark Marlboro man. It bounced back out to the field. Barry, I'm going to forget Barry's last name, threw it into second base, and the kid slid. It was a home run, but the referee, the umps never saw it, didn't see it that way, and they lost. Little Falls lost.
Little Falls lost the game and lost the playoff. Lost the playoff bid.
A half a game.
Yeah.
A half a game. So that was the worst. And the funny thing about it is the next inning, Jacoby hit the Marlboro man, and that time they said
it was a home run. Yeah. It was clearly a home run. They just didn't see it.
Absolutely.
And you have two, New York Penn League at the time is probably still the same. They only had two umps. So those guys, they weren't looking. I mean, how could that? And it was a half game. Utica won by a half game.
Right, and they had to go up in Watertown. They kind of, remember Roger Kahn was president of the Blue Sox and wrote "Good Enough to Dream" after that, and they kind of manipulated the whole thing. They demanded they had a makeup game. They ended up playing 3 games in Watertown, and I think won 2 of them to win the pennant by half a game. It was hilarious in a way. It wasn't fair, but it was hilarious in a way.
It was.
We had a lot of fun with that. That's for sure.
When you really think about what happened in those 2 seasons, that year with Roger Kahn and all of the notoriety that came to Utica, and then the next year, somebody as legendary as Buddy Harrelson was managing the team.
Right.
I mean, it was 2 really great years of minor league baseball here in this area. It was really cool.
And here's something before that. The year before, 1982, Billy Horton and the Mohawk Valley Stars won the Atlantic Coast Hockey League championship in 1982. So I covered. They used to give me a hard time at the OD that I was covering all these losing teams.
Yeah,
and then 3 championship teams in a row.
Yeah, that was.
It was a lot of fun. It really was.
It was, and I think about those days. It was really cool. And if you remember, who also came out of there was Jim Jackson and Dan Horde. Dan Horde is calling. I don't know. I think it's an NBA team somewhere. And
he was in Cincinnati, wasn't he? Didn't he do the Cincinnati Reds?
I think he might have been doing the Reds. And then Jim Jackson, of course, has been doing hockey since he
Flyers many years. Yeah.
Since he left, and is Emmy Award winning for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh yeah. Well, I saved Jackson's life one time, but he won't admit to it. The old Utica press box. The Utica press box was like a crow's nest, very unstable piece of architecture, if you will, and it was open, and a guy hit a fly ball, and it was going right for Jackson's face, and I stuck up. My memory is that I caught it. He insists that he caught it. I know he didn't catch it. Well, one of us is lying. I don't know which one. But those guys have done very well for themselves.
And if I am correct, you were there for the legendary, and I've told these guys about this story, and I don't think they believe me. The legendary where the screen is in Little Falls, it's about 1.5 feet between the screen and the press box, and and somebody popped it up. It went straight up in between that the screen and the press box and landed in a Coca-Cola cup. Do you remember that?
There's no doubt about it. And I also remember you could lift that.
Oh yeah.
And for a little while, that was wide open.
Right. You wanted to get rid of you wanted a clear view. You're sitting behind home plate. You lift the screen up and you get a clear view. But yeah, a clear view of the baseball going towards your head.
Right, because there were a lot of foul balls that came rocketing in there. So the discretion was a better part of valor. So they dropped it again because you were going to get killed in there. Yeah,
and there's no doubt that was pretty scary. As a matter of fact, in the wall in the back, you could see where the balls had come through.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
But I will say the Little Falls press box was far superior, and the field far superior to the Utica field at the time, Murnane Field at the time. Murnane Field, they said it was 280 down the right field line. I think we measured it one time, and it was 268. So you'd be a pop-up, and the second baseman looking up, and then it'd go over the wall.
Yeah, it was quite a park at the time. Jim Rondinelli's made his way in.
I can attest to the Utica press box. I spent a summer in there. I did public address in '84, and it was a great time. And I'll tell you, Bill Murray still owned the team back then, and Brian Doyle Murray was at almost every home game there, and he would sit in the press box because he didn't want to sit out in the fans.
Yeah.
So I used to share the press box with him, and
That's really cool.
Talked to him a little bit, and no cell phones back then, so no selfies. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did a year of public address.
I don't know if you remember this, Jim, but they showed up one day. The Murray brothers showed up.
Yeah.
Brian Doyle Murray took over the microphone, and the umpire threw him out of there because the remarks he was making.
Yeah. Listen, those were great days, and that's why there is a Greater Utica Sports Hall of Fame. So, John Pitaressi, totally enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you guys. Hey, you guys have a great day.
All right, you too.